This program is dedicated to the brave men and women of the United States Armed Forces, past, present, and future. I'm Keith Warren. I'm a hunter.
Talk about dumping him on his butt.
A fisherman.
Wow! Shark fishing with a topwater.
A conservationist.
Don't be bashful. Come on out.
A family man.
Woo, baby.
And I'm proud to be a deer farmer. I'm taking a road trip, and we're going behind the scenes of today's most innovative deer farmers and wildlife management operations in North America. This is Deer and Wildlife Stories. Welcome to today's show and to the Triple J Ranch located just outside of Somerville, Texas. We were here a couple of years ago and we were telling you at that time what makes the Triple J Ranch different. And that's primarily, they have great big Texas-sized deer for sure, but it's customer service. Customer service is number one right here. And what we're gonna do on today's program is a little bit different. It's never been done on TV before. We're gonna cover the topic pasture deer in a way that, well, I think you're gonna like it. Now, pasture deer are special deer. That's what's raised in deer farms that's released onto pastures to introduce genetic diversity. We're gonna show you the pasture deer here on the Triple J, but we're gonna load them up and show you how they're taken from one deer farm to a giant pasture to be able to spread the genetic diversity. We're gonna also show you an absolute unbelievable 3-year-old right here on the Triple J. And I think you're gonna like today's show.
My name is Chris McDaniel and I'm General Manager here at Triple J Ranch. Triple J Ranch is located between Somerville and Bryan College Station in the Post Oak Savannah. The Triple J Ranch is 3,200 acres, beautiful rolling hills, creeks, beautiful hardwood bottoms. It's a wonderful place. Our number one goal here at Triple J Ranch is customer service. Repeat business is very important to us. That's why we strive so hard to have customer service. Our second goal is raising superior whitetail genetics for seed stock. Inside the Triple J Ranch, we have breeder pens, around 50 acres and 50 pens. There's 500, a little over 500 deer in our pens. It's a state-of-the-art facility. It's a wonderful thing.
So tell me about this pen right here.
That's a great pen of yearling bucks. Wow. Really consistent across the board.
I mean, how many bucks you got in there, Chris?
16.
Goodness gracious. I mean, there are some really good ones. Now, all these are yearlings. There's no 2-year-olds in there at all?
No, sir. No 2-year-olds in there at all. Just a really consistent group. Quality genetics across the board.
I think that if people, as they look at them, if they look how lean they look, they don't have deep chests. I mean, they're kind of tight-bellied and they look young. I mean, look at their faces. I mean, everybody, I know you want to look at their antlers and go, oh, that's an exceptional one there. That's an exceptional one there, because they're all good genetics. But the deal is, they need to look at them and see age-wise. I mean, the deer don't look very old. I mean, a lot of times I'll wind up talking to people, and I really believe they've never seen a mature deer in their life, because the reason why is when they're hunting, that's what they normally see. I mean, if they see a buck, he's probably a 1-year-old buck. Look at that one right there. I mean, that's a nice deer. You know, but unfortunately, a lot of hunters will wind up taking a buck out like that as a 1-year-old and not even give him an opportunity, you know, to
reach his full potential.
Yeah, but these deer right here, all of them are superior genetics, aren't they?
Yes, that's right.
Y'all AI breed.
Yes.
Everything, don't you?
Yes.
I mean, so you've got the handling facility and you AI breed them, and then do you put cover bucks on them?
Yes, sir, we sure do.
Okay, so, but these deer in here, do they have DNA pedigrees on them?
That's correct.
So if somebody wanted to buy a deer, see, that's the deal. I would give a piece of advice to anybody that's looking at buying deer. I don't care whether you're a new deer farmer or an existing deer farmer or an old-time deer farmer. Old-time deer farmers will agree with this. Don't buy something that doesn't have a pedigree. Don't you think?
Yeah. It doesn't have a pedigree. You don't know what it is for sure.
Yeah, I mean, all deer look good when they're babies. And then they get old, and so it costs the same amount of money to feed a bad deer as it does a good deer, and those are good deer. So let me ask you this, like 1-year-olds like this, I know that later on today we're going to be loading up 3-year-olds because you've got some pasture deer being hauled off to a different place. But do you sell 1-year-old bucks like this?
We do. For breeders, there's guys that come in and buy breeders every year from us.
Okay, and they come in your office and they can take a tour, pick out a buck or 2 or 3, and then say, okay, let's go in and look at the pedigrees on them, right?
That's correct.
Okay, and the mamas, you've got all the mamas here, right?
Yes, sir.
And you'd be able to show them what the offspring of the mamas were.
Right. We let guys cherry pick too. You know, that costs more, but they can come in there and pick those super does out.
Okay, and I'll tell you all this, as far as cherry picking, there's a lot of deer farms that won't let you do that. There's a lot of them, you know that. They say, look, you're gonna buy them all, or you're not gonna buy any. So that's a pretty cool deal about coming here. That's good. All right, well, I can tell you this, your 1-year-olds are a whole lot better. You had great 1-year-olds 2 years ago when I was here. But, I mean, clearly they're better.
Yeah, you know, we are making great strides and doing better and better job every year.
Why do you think that your 1-year-olds are better now than they were 2 years ago?
You know, we're stacking pedigrees, and we're also, you know, with DNA and the different registries and the things that we're able to use, you know, we're just getting better at it. We're figuring out the mousetrap.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't think we'll figure it out 100%. I think we're always learning, no matter how much time we spend with the deer. But that is a great, great pen of yearling bucks. You got some 2-year-olds I can look at?
Yeah, let's go look at them.
All right, let's go. All right. If you like the way our show looks on your television set, you're going to absolutely love it when you see it in full HD online. And you can watch it on my website 24/7 free of charge at keithwarren.net. Take a look and you'll see what I'm talking about. Good gosh almighty, Chris. These are 2-year-olds?
That's a pen of 2-year-olds.
Holy!
That's a really good set.
No, that's a great set. There's got to be some 300-inch, don't you think?
There's 3 or 4 of them that are going to be 300 inches.
Folks, this is just 2-year-olds. And now, I was here 2 years ago, and we wound up videotaping Becca, that's Chris's wife, bottle feeding doe fawns.
Yes, sir.
Now, those doe fawns are sisters to these guys, and they're the same age now.
That's correct.
Okay, so these little guys were being raised on their mamas, but their sisters are being raised by Becca, Chris's wife. You have no idea when you're looking at these little fawns if they're going to grow up to be real big deer if you're looking at them in the wild. But if you're looking at them on a deer farm, somebody like Chris has got deep, wide pedigrees that they can tell you who the dam and sire are, who the grand dam and grandsire are, and back even beyond that. While you're looking at those little guys, you know that potentially they have what it takes to be an all-star.
That's right.
And I'm looking at that right there and I'm going, you know, 2 years old? I mean, 2 years old?
It's amazing.
It is amazing, but it's a result also of stacking genetics.
That's correct.
But to give you an example of genetics and hunting and letting deer get older, I want to show you this. I want you to take a look at this antler right here. This is a really nice buck that if you were in New Hampshire or Florida or Louisiana or Texas or just about any state, you're sitting up in a tree and this guy comes by, odds are you're going to put an arrow through him. You know what? This is a 1-year-old buck, and he's a nice 1-year-old buck. And like I said, age, nutrition, and genetics. So let's take a look at this exact same deer when he was 2. Take a look at that, same deer, okay? You can see that he went from being a really nice 1-year-old to being an exceptional 2-year-old buck. So if he would have been taken out of the herd at 1, he would never reach 2. But genetically, this deer had it in his blood. So again, age, nutrition, and genetics. So right here at Triple J, they let this guy go to 3 years old. And his name is Big Stitch. And you're gonna see the jump between 1, 2, and now 3. And Big Stitch is making a big mark in the Texas deer business. Okay, enough of the 2-year-olds. It's time to go see Big Stitch.
Let's go see him.
All right. Man, I can't wait to lay my eyes on Big Stitch. I've heard about him all summer long.
He's a pretty deer.
Goodness gracious. I know which one's Big Stitch.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Look at that. All right. I want to know something though. He's 3 and you can tell by the body, but those aren't 3-year-olds with him, are they?
No, those are 2-year-olds.
Well, why do you have him with 2-year-olds.
For us, it works out a little better. I want him to be the big deer in the pen, so I put him with younger bucks, and looks like it's working.
Yeah, yeah. In other words, you're going to put him with the younger deer, so he kind of keeps everybody else in line.
Kind of keeps everybody else in line. He's the dominant buck. It's really working well.
Yeah, he keeps them in order, but I am blown away how big he is. Now, he was at the antlers we showed earlier. You had him at 1 and at 2, and now look at him at 3. Talk about taking a big jump. Now, was that deer born here?
He was born here.
Okay.
Out of Triple J does.
All right. And so you got pedigree on him, right?
Yes, sir.
And you got semen. I'm sure you're gonna be selling on,
We
right?
got semen out of him. We'll have semen for sale and bred does for sale this year.
Oh, you'll sell bred does out of him too?
Yes, sir.
Genetically, did you have any idea, really and truly, that he was gonna get that big?
You have dreams. You dream about it and you plan to do it, but you know, to have him actually come out that big it's you know, he was bred to look that way.
Okay, so you have his name is Big Stitch. Okay, and he is a giant deer. But why do you call him Big Stitch?
He's out of a biggin daughter and a Stitches, so Big Stitch.
Okay, I got you. That makes sense. Okay, so if somebody is interested in coming out on a farm tour, do you take people on farm tours?
Absolutely, we'd love to show him off.
Okay, so you hear that? If you want to come out to a farm tour, they're located right next to College Station. That's where that little university called Texas A&M is.
Yes, sir.
But you can give Chris a call. Give him your phone number.
979-272-3498, or just go to triplejranch.com.
And when you wind up coming out here, I would recommend bring a camera. You don't mind that, do you?
No, not at all.
I mean,
we love to show off.
Yeah, I mean, he will show you how it's done. All right, well, let's get to the barn.
Let's go work these deer.
Deer and Wildlife Stories is brought to you in part by Deer Guardian Misting Systems, DNA Solutions, and the North American Deer Registry, Four Canyons Ranch, Hoff Power Polaris, the Hunter Heritage Foundation, Record Rack Deer Feeds, and by Southwest Fabricators, where quality goes in before the name goes on.
Well, today is a very special day. We are stocking another ranch here in Texas with some deer. Now that's a special day because the deer are leaving the ranch, going to another place. It's been a wonderful thing because we've been able to watch them grow up.
My name is Chris Metner. I'm here at Triple J Ranch to pick up a group of bucks to set loose on a pasture for a customer of mine to improve the genetic quality of the herd on his ranch. The reason that we're releasing these bucks on this ranch are to improve the genetic quality of the herd. This is by far the fastest way to improve the genetic quality of the herd on the ranch, is to introduce superior genetic animals.
Need to go round these bucks up. Let's go.
All right, this is a perfect day to do this. It's early in the morning. The weather's still kind of cool. It's going to get warmer later on today, but here at the Triple J, they've got a big barn, and the barn is air conditioned. And what's going on right now, Chris is going to go round up the deer. He's going to take some time, go down in the big pen that they've been held in, and he's going to run them up the lane and get them up into the barn.
All right, so this morning we went down and we got the bucks, brought them up here. We brought them up that long lane and we ran them really fast, but it always works better when I bring them fast. It doesn't give them time to hunt a hole. Just like when we were growing up working cattle. And bring them up here fast, shut the door on them, get them in the barn safe and sound. There's several reasons we run them down that long lane with all those curves in it. Every time they come around a curve, they get away from you. They feel safer, so they move easier. Brings them right into the barn, safe and sound. These are 3-year-old bucks. They're great bucks. They're gonna make great pasture bucks for the next owner. He's gonna be able to use them and improve his genetics on his farm. These aren't the kind of bucks that we want to breed here at Triple J. That's the way we work deer at Triple J.
All right, the deer are loaded up into the barn and they're sorted out in groups of 4 to 5 bucks per little stall. The stalls are really dark, the barn's dark. And the reason why is the darker it is, the more calm the deer remain. You'll notice that there are red lights in the barn, and the reason that there are red lights in the barn is because that's to help us really be able to see, the deer handlers. The red light doesn't seem to bother the deer as much as the bright lights, and so what we wind up doing to get in there and work them, we wind up using the red lights just for us to be able to see.
You notice that all these bucks still have the ear tags left in them. We're gonna leave them in there so the next ranch can tell the genetics and watch these bucks grow through the years.
All right, what's going on here is that they're running every one of these deer through the handler. And what they're doing is the deer already have ear tags in their ears, and those ear tags have unique numbers in them. Before a deer can be moved legally in the state of Texas and taken out of a breeder facility, they have to have a tattoo in their ear, and it's a permanent tattoo. And so what they're doing, they're actually running the deer through, they're putting a tattoo in their ear that has a unique number on it, and they're actually opening it up and taking some pictures, photographing every one of these bucks. And what Becca's doing over here, she's just taking down data. In deer management, especially when you're dealing with breeder deer, deer farms have to have a lot of good data, so that she's writing down all this information. They'll then put it in a computer program later. But right now, every one of the bucks that Chris is picking up outside in that trailer is going through the system to make sure they're all legally done. So, I mean, it's a pretty cool deal going on right there. As far as the shots you see them giving them a little something to kind of calm them down when they get in the trailer. It just settles them down a little bit. And again, calm deer are good deer, and so they give them a little shot to help calm them down. It helps them on that transition from the Triple J to their final destination.
It's time for viewer feedback, brought to you by winadeerfarm.com, presented by High Roller Whitetails.
Dear Keith, we love your show and want to be deer farmers someday. Is there an organization for us to call to get some help? Sammy and Julie Olson from Texas. Yes, there are organizations that you can call to get some help. First off, anywhere you are in the country, I would recommend getting a hold of NADEFA. That's the North American Deer Farmers. They have connections with every state where deer farming is legal, and they can hook you up. In Texas, I'd recommend you contact two organizations. You've got the Texas Deer Association, or called the TDA, and the DBC, which is the Deer Breeders Co-op. They're both great organizations, and you can get a lot of information that way, so hope that steers you in the right direction.
Deer and Wildlife Stories is brought to you in part by winadeerfarm.com, presented by High Roller Whitetails, Game Management Software, the North American Deer Farmers Association, New Dart, Shock Effect Probiotics, and Keith Warren's Texas Hidden Springs Ranch, the best value for Texas trophy deer hunting.
I want to point out, if you're interested in deer farming and you'd like an opportunity to win a deer farm, we've got a sweepstakes going on, winadeerfarm.com. Log on to it. We're going to set them up with a deer farm.
All right, we have 5 loaded in the trailer. We have 20 more to work. Everything's going wonderful. Very low stress working. Give them antibiotic for stress for the travel. Everything's going great. The reason I deal with Triple J Ranch is because they understand customer quality and customer service. The other thing that I look at heavily is the herd health. These animals are very healthy, and you're fighting an uphill battle if you introduce animals onto your ranch that have poor health. The third thing that I look at is the way that they handle these animals in their working facility. It's a very low stress environment. We're fixing to load out these deer onto the trailer. We're going to release them on the ranch here shortly. They will live the rest of their life on this ranch, improving the genetic quality of the ranch.
All right, what's going on here, this is an air-conditioned trailer, air-conditioned. The key to doing all this is keeping the deer as calm as can be and reducing the stress on them. That's the reason why when they go inside the red light, they just calm down, and just the less stress, the better on any deer. What's happening, we've got a camera inside this trailer, and Chris is inside the trailer too. When the first batch come in, what he's going to do, he's going to close the door and put them in one compartment. Again, it's an air-conditioned trailer. It's to make them where they have less stress on them, and they will be hauled to their ranch that they're going to live on the rest of their life in this air-conditioned trailer. So there's a bunch of deer to move today, and this is something that I don't think has ever been done on TV before. And this is what goes, it's actually a common occurrence this time of year in late August right here at the Triple J Ranch and other ranches all over the country, but this is a pretty neat deal.
It went really well, but it always goes well the way I do it.
All right, Becca is finishing up the paperwork now. They're running the last load right down through the alleyway and up in the trailer. I want to point out that reducing the stress on white-tailed deer is going to keep them healthier longer. All right, they're running up into an air-conditioned trailer. They're nice and calm. She's finishing up the paperwork, and soon they're going to be ready to go. If y'all have any questions or comments about today's show, we'd love to hear from you. Get a hold of me on Facebook, or just shoot me an email. You know, what's going on here at the Triple J, Well, it's important. It's important for the future of white-tailed deer and for landowners. What you've seen on today's show is something that's going on a regular basis. It's an example of how private landowners are actually working hard to make sure that they improve the genetics of the white-tailed deer on their piece of property. If you'd like more information on what's going on here at the Triple J Ranch, you can contact Chris McDaniel at the telephone number that you see on the screen right now. If you got any questions or comments about the program, we'd love to hear from you. I'm Keith Warren, and thanks for watching Deer and Wildlife Stories.
For more information on the Triple J Ranch, call 979-272-3498 or visit triplejjjranch.com. Before you make your next Polaris purchase, you owe it to yourself to check out the #1 Polaris dealer in the country, Hoff Power Polaris. If you'd like to watch full episodes of our programs 24/7 online in full HD, log on to my website at keithwarren.net. There, you'll find the shows, but you'll also find a lot of outtakes and behind-the-scenes videos as well. That's keithwarren.net. Reproductive services for deer and wildlife stories are provided by Whitetail Genetics.